heads into a deep and meaty rose. Jaws gawping, lips beginning to curve in upon themselves like pliers, propping their mouths ajar so that the river flows right through them. And yet for the rest of their lives these salmon will not eat. They will not drink. The organs that sustain them, the kidneys and the stomach, are shrinking as they sense the sweet water they have not known since they were smolts, finger big, years back. Familiar scents long forgotten are triggering changes in their brains and in their bodies. Their chemistry has new priorities now. The ovaries of the female hen will swell to 1/6 of her body weight during her swim upriver. The cock's testes will increase 5-fold. For several years, the salmon have roamed in schools throughout the Bering Sea, the chain of the Aleutians, the Sea of Okhotsk, ranging as far as the coasts of Japan. Their many species mingle. They travel further than science can reach, and much of what they eat and where they winter can only be surmised. The Yupik say that they live in human form beneath the waves. 5 houses, one for each tribe, and at the Salmon King's behest each spring they pull on their fins and silver skins and make for the human world. In the late Arctic spring, impelled before the others, the kings turn for North America's west coast, California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Alaska. They have iron in their brains. Their compasses have led them here. Now they scent their birthing pools, a chemical mix of vegetable and mineral unique to the waters of their birth that draws them on a thread up several thousand miles of river. They can distinguish a single drop from their home river amongst 2 million gallons of seawater. The movement of one, changing direction, pulses through the rest, electric. At times they crest the surface, a dark, sleek back, a dorsal fin, undulating like dolphins. These fish are many pounds of muscle, toned through years of swimming headlong into Pacific storms, and their flesh is red as blood. They force against the Yukon's current, shouldering their way upriver, tacking crosswise through the flow, setting their fins like sails. Their shadows pass like clouds across the bottom. They rest in the eddies of boulders on the river's bed, erratics left behind by glaciers. At the river's mouth, the water is still brackish, the current compounded with the flow of the tide, but it is diluting, and as they move further up the delta, the sea slackens off its hold, resigning, letting them go. On this great in-breath of the land, the kings spread up through the waters and their tributaries, permeating the watershed. Eventually, they will push thousands of miles into the continent's interior. They will reach mountain lakes. They will reach the clouds. It is the end of May, and spring is late, which is not to say that it is a late spring, because this far north there is no such thing as a yardstick to measure the seasons up against. I've been here 50 years, in the words of one old-timer, and the only normal year we had was 2 years ago. But people say it is not where it ought to be. Mountains ring the town, and the snow still comes far down their peaks. The dandelions only opened last week. Bears have awoken from hibernation and, finding nothing to eat, have roamed within the White Horse city limits, sniffing out trash cans and chicken coops. The government has shot 6 in the past month. White Horse, in the Yukon Territory, northwest Canada, is so named for the white manes that once tossed in the rapids of Miles Canyon, but that was more than 100 years ago, back in gold rush times, almost prehistory. The dam went up in 58, and the horses are all since drowned. Above the dam is a lake called Schwatka, after the man who mapped and did his best to tame the Yukon River on behalf of the U.S. Army, and where Yukoners go to test drive their jet skis come the summertime. The floatplane base is little more than a jetty of planks buoyed up by oil drums, an old-fashioned balance to weigh in the bags, and a Cessna plane moored up on a thin rope, bright red against the blue. The pilot has only recently switched his skis over to floats. He cannot tell us whether McNeil Lake, where we are headed, will still be frozen over. I was in London 3 days ago, and I am not used to uncertainty. But up here, out there, if someone hasn't seen it, then the information doesn't exist. Our bags come in at just below the permitted 800 pounds. The pilot asks our weights so as best to arrange us in the plane. It is a perfect day.